everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by and being a part of today's presentation. Today, as we're looking at the beginning of the spring semester, our department wanted to take a little bit of time to show you a couple resources if you're just starting your college adventure. As we all know, major exploration is a huge part of what EGCC Career Development does. And what we want to do today is show you a popular resource in the career space that might be helpful for you, referred to as the Holland Code. So as some of you may know, there's lots of different personality tests out there. One of the more common ones being the Myers-Briggs, introverted, extroverted, those 4-letter codes that you've probably taken an assessment at one point. However, the Holland Code is specifically designed to help educate individuals in terms of their career space. By finding similarities and consistencies in your personality, you can make a correlation on what types of jobs people with similar personalities may be able to make. And there's a very, very common misconception when it comes to these types of assessments that if it tells you you should be a teacher and you already know you should hate being a teacher, it does not mean that something is wrong with you. It's just a general trend that people with similar personality types tend to be interested in these types of positions. You should really use any type of an assessment more as an opportunity to learn more about job titles. At the end of the day, almost everybody in your world is going to change their career multiple times over their time in the workforce. And it is important for us to understand multiple job titles that really align passionately with us. When we reflect upon our mission, our visions, and our values, we should be asking ourselves, what are 3, 5, 7 different job titles that we could really live by our mission? And if you're able to do that, that gives you an opportunity where if opportunity A doesn't work well for you, career title B, C, and D could. And the Holland Code could be a very helpful way to do that. So what the Holland Code does is it breaks personalities down into 6 major values. Investigative type of individuals that love looking at things like the scientific method. How do we apply the scientific method to various situations? Artistic, how can we use creativity to bring value to a unique situation? Social, how can we communicate and help individuals, supporting them in their success? Enterprising, how can we utilize people from a leadership perspective to support them towards all working at one goal? Conventional, this idea of how do I create systems and organizations that are very easy for people to work through? And realistic, people that really love that hands-on tactile learning and really getting down and dirty with whatever material they're working on. The concept behind the Holland Code is that one of these 3 codes, or 3 of these 6 codes, should really, really strongly align with you more than the others. And while this is designed to be flexible as you grow in your career, by finding where these values are, which one's most aligned to you, it can give you a really strong starting point in asking, what type of work do I want to do? A position such as a scientist is going to have a lot of investigative tactics related to it. But if you're really into tangible, realistic work, and investigative isn't in your top 3, then you're going to know that, that may not be the best fit for you. But if, let's say hypothetically, if you find enterprising to be the value that aligns the most with you, then you can use some tools that I'll show you here shortly to come up with an answer to the question, well, what other jobs can I utilize the same skill set and satisfaction from? So what I want to do here is show off the tool My Next Move. My Next Move is a resource available on onetonline.org. So we can go onetonline.org. And we come up to this page here. The PowerPoint, which should be included in a link in the description below, should be able to give you some more information about how to utilize this resource. But what it is, you click on this purple button, My Next Move. And then while there's a few different searches here by keywords, by industry, we really want to look at this purple button, Tell Us What You Like to Do. So what this assessment does is it creates a quick 60-second questionnaire asking you about different jobs, different kind of responsibilities. So these questions bring up questions like build kitchen cabinets, lay brick or tile, develop a new medicine. As you complete these assessments, you can score them on a scale from 1 to 5, where 5 would be, I love the idea of doing this very, very frequently. And 1, I don't like the idea of regularly doing this in my work. What will happen is through completing these 60 questions, and it should take the average person 10 minutes or less to be able to complete, it'll give you a quick approximation of your Holland Code. It'll point out the 6 values from highest to lowest, and which ones are most likely to correlate with what you would find interesting in work, and then provide a list of different job titles that align with this interest profiler. So while I won't take time to go through this at length, what you can do is complete it. It'll give you a Holland Code, and then what you'll do is you'll come back to onetonline.org, and then come here to this advanced search and click interests. What this allows you to do is you can choose which one of those interests you scored the highest. Let's say hypothetically you completed it in social, scored the highest for you. Here's a list of every job title that ONET Online, which is directly connected to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the US government, has for people that highly value social, these different job titles. Now you can even take your second and third strongest value and plug that in as well. You can click go, and it'll give you a very, very selective list. Now, because when you go to 3 values, the list is very, very centralized, I generally encourage individuals to just pick 2. That'll create a relatively specific list that you can go through and look at length. And what I would encourage you to do is, again, you're looking at this as a resource, not of I can do these things, I can't do these things, I should do these things, I shouldn't, but use as an opportunity to learn about job titles that you've never heard of before. While this isn't a steadfast rule, this job zone section generally means this is the number of years of education that you need to be able to do a position like this. Again, that is a general rule of thumb, and there are exceptions to it. But let's say somebody would be interested in being an animal control worker, and they've never heard of that title. They can click animal control worker, and they can start skimming the page. These pages have a ton of different information, from the types of job titles that are posted by employers looking for people in this industry, to tasks and responsibilities that they'd have to do on a day-to-day basis. Continues to include the amount of education that individuals in this type of industry tend to have. Even comes down to wages and employment trends. You can look at what your hourly or annual salary is on a per state basis. This is going to be a great tool for you to be able to understand what salaries are locally for you, which can be very helpful for salary negotiations when it comes to taking an entry-level position, as well as a related occupations list. People that are interested in this job also tend to be interested in jobs like B, C, and D. If you're able to find through a combination of this related occupations list and the list of job opportunities that appear on this interest search list, you should be able to create a holistic list of 3, 5, 7, 10, 15 different job titles that have your interest. From there, you can start asking yourself, what types of degrees would allow me to qualify for as many of these job titles as possible? And then you can sit down and have a meeting with our career development department to learn more about those job industries, about the outcomes attached to them, and we can support you in making the best decision for you. If you ever have any more questions on the subject, we'd love to sit down and discuss with you. Check the description below for more information about how to connect to our career development department, and we'll look forward to talking to you more soon. Thanks.